Before anything else, synthetic voice, real script behind it. I'm Alex Chen, AI software architect. I build and maintain Swoin solo. One person, one codebase, everything. And I want to talk about a book I keep coming back to, and what actually survived when I applied it alone. The book's called Accelerate, Forsgren, Humble, and Kim, 2018. And the reason I take it seriously isn't the writing. It's that it's empirical. It comes out of the DORA research. More than 23,000 survey responses over 4 years from more than 2,000 organizations, startups to Fortune 500. It's not, here's our philosophy of good software. It's, here's what we measured, and here's what actually correlated with outcomes across a big sample. That's a different kind of claim. What it found is that high-performing teams look different on 4 delivery metrics: deployment frequency, how often you ship; lead time, how long from commit to production; change failure rate, how often a change breaks something; and time to restore, how fast you recover when it does. Higher performers ship more often, with shorter lead times, fewer failures, faster recovery. And here's the part that surprised me. Those same practices correlate with lower burnout. Which, yeah, kind of makes sense if you think about it. When your systems are reliable and your process is smooth, the psychological weight of shipping just drops. Now, the book lays out 24 capabilities behind those metrics, grouped into 5 clusters: continuous delivery, architecture, product and process, lean management and monitoring, and culture. And a bunch of those assume a team, approval processes, cross-functional collaboration, leadership structures. So the interesting question for me wasn't, how do I do all 24? It's, I'm one person. Which of these actually apply, and which just don't? 4 of them I've built directly into how I work. Let me go through them with the actual tooling. First, deployment automation. Swoin runs on Kubernetes with Argo CD for GitOps-style deploys. Every merge to main kicks off an automated pipeline. Build, test, push the image, deploy to staging, deploy to production. I don't touch servers. I don't run a deploy script. No maintenance window. Lead time from merged commit to live in production is measured in minutes. The research backs this as one of the highest leverage capabilities there is. But honestly, the thing I notice most isn't speed, it's confidence. When deploying is cheap and reliable, you do it more often, in smaller pieces, and it's way easier to isolate what broke. The alternative, big, infrequent, manual deploys, quietly trains you to batch changes so the deploy feels worth it. Bigger diffs, more risk, and you start avoiding deploying at all. The cycle works against you. Quick pause for a word from this video's sponsor, which, full disclosure, is our own platform. And I'm handing the read to my colleague Lucas, because he pitches it better than I do.
Thanks, Alex. Here's the thing, and it's simple. Most makers are solving 2 problems at the same time: what to build next, and how to keep the lights on while they build it. Feels like 2 problems. It's not. Swoin.io connects them. Your community subscribes monthly, so you get predictable recurring revenue, and every subscription comes with innovation tokens they spend on the features they actually want. So the roadmap follows where the real energy is, instead of where you're guessing. At the end of the day, you stop choosing between paying the bills and building the right thing. Links in the description. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Lucas. Second, trunk-based development. Everything happens on main. No long-lived feature branches, small changes, integrated frequently through automated checks before merge. And for a solo dev, this sounds like overkill. I mean, who am I integrating with? But the discipline still pays. Long-lived branches accumulate drift, and the longer you sit on one, the more painful the merge. And the more you're carrying, what was the codebase even like when I branched? Small, frequent integrations keep it coherent, and they force you to break work into shippable increments, which is its own kind of architectural discipline. It makes you ask, before you write the feature, can I ship this without breaking anything? And if I ever bring on a second developer, the process is already there. Third, comprehensive test automation. Unit, integration, and end-to-end with Playwright, all running on every commit in CI. Nothing merges unless they pass. And I'll be honest, building that up front costs real time, and maintaining tests is its own burden. I've had a UI change break tests I had to fix before I could merge. That's friction, no spin on it. But the alternative is deploying with low confidence. And solo, there's nobody to catch what you miss. You're already context switching across building, debugging, product, and ops. The tests are what make high deployment frequency not terrifying. And here's a reason this matters more than it used to. Test-driven development, writing against unit, integration, or end-to-end tests, is close to a no-brainer now, because an AI agent can iterate against those tests directly and land on a version that actually satisfies the requirements. That's not theoretical. And the pipeline enforces it the same way it enforces everything else. It doesn't merge unless the tests pass. Whoever, or whatever, wrote the change. Fourth, monitoring and alerting. If you don't know when something breaks, you find out from a user. Worst feedback loop there is. So I've got health endpoints, error rate logging, alerting on the things that matter most. Not a full observability platform. That'd be over-engineering for where Swoin is. Just enough to know something's down before a user does, or at least at the same time. What matters is the minimum viable feedback loop. You don't need 12 dashboards. That's very achievable solo. Those four: deployment automation, trunk-based dev, testing, monitoring, are basically the continuous delivery cluster translated to one person. They've moved the needle more than anything else I've tried. Now let me be just as clear about what I skip. Change approval boards. There's nobody else to approve my changes. That capability exists to stop unilateral changes in big orgs. And at one person, I am the entire approval process. A formal board would just be a system to slow myself down. Complex governance, escalation paths, committee structures, overhead with no benefit at this scale. Cross-functional team coordination. Self-explanatory. There's no other function. The cultural capabilities are more interesting, though. Psychological safety, climate for learning. Those matter deeply. But they translate differently solo. For me, psychological safety isn't about how I treat colleagues. It's about my relationship with failure. Am I okay shipping something imperfect? Do I treat a production bug as information or as a personal indictment? That's the solo version of the same principle. And to be clear, I'm not skipping the org capabilities because they're wrong. They're right for the context they were built for. I'm skipping them because they need an organization I don't have yet. When I do, we'll add them together. So, how would I actually use this if you're solo or a small team? Don't try to implement all 24. Start with continuous delivery, automation, version control, testing, CI. Strongest evidence, most direct impact, best return at small scale. Then, pay more attention to the architecture capabilities than you'd expect on a first read. Loosely coupled systems and clean component boundaries basically set the price of everything else. If the architecture's tangled, every other capability gets more expensive. And skip the organizational stuff until you actually have an organization. And the most honest thing I can say, the 24 capabilities are a compass, not a checklist. They tell you the direction, not the exact route for your scale and your constraints. The research shows correlation, not causation. I can't prove deployment automation caused my delivery to improve. What I can say is, in my case, under these conditions, these consistently moved things the right way. If your conditions are similar, worth a look. 3 things I'd take out of this. 1. The DORA research is descriptive, not prescriptive. It's a map, not a rulebook. 2. The continuous delivery cluster translates directly to solo work. High leverage, reasonable effort. Start there. 3. The organizational capabilities matter at organizational scale. Skipping them isn't laziness, it's scoping. The discipline still applies, the format changes. And a quick bridge, because it's the same argument. Building software sustainably, reliable delivery over a long horizon, is exactly what makes it possible to build a community around it sustainably too. That long horizon thinking is the whole idea behind Swoin. If you're curious, swoin.io, link in the description. swoin.io/s/YT607A, pinned in the comments. And I'm curious, which of the Accelerate capabilities has had the most impact on your own work? Or which ones felt totally irrelevant to your scale? Drop it in the comments. I'm especially interested in what solo devs and small teams make of the organizational cluster. And if you got something out of this, subscribe. I put out this kind of breakdown regularly. Real decisions from actually building the thing solo. Next, I'd watch the one on a Swoin feature that doesn't exist yet. Buy tokens. It's me thinking out loud about how your community could show you, with real money, what they'd actually want built. It's on the end screen. Take a look.